Hey guys, how's it going? I'm just gonna do a stream about a few different events today. There's so much news lately that's really hard to cover everything at once. Or sometimes I just want to do put everything up in one go. Here, I'm just adjusting the camera. Yeah, he never touched his wife. I don't know, but either way, the story that I did see about it and I did read was pretty funny nonetheless. Sorry, just adjusting the camera here. But, I did read the story and it did make me laugh nonetheless. And I don't know, a few of the points in there did kind of like make it look sort of bad. So, I'm going to like go and read through it because, hey, Mike, what's up? And RJ, how's it going, by the way? Did you see the shooting in Toronto? They shot at kids. No, I did not see the shooting in Toronto. When did that happen? Sorry, I'm just going to readjust this again. But, so what? Really, another fucking shooting. Offending him, and now they're divorcing. She says this stuff. Yeah, that's, well, she did say that in the divorce, and she could be making all this stuff up, to like get the kids and stuff. But I don't think she went to the media with this. I'm pretty sure somebody, because in America, when you bring this stuff to court, it's pretty much accessible for everybody to see. So it's kind of shitty. That's why most people settle when it comes to this type of stuff, because yeah, they don't want to have all of their dirty laundry aired out for the public to see. But nonetheless, like, I'm gonna go through the story, and I'm not saying these allegations are true and believe the woman and yada yada yada. But nonetheless, I thought there was a few lines in there that I could see maybe Richard Spencer saying. It was just kind of funny, and a couple interactions. But I'll go through the story, and it's like, white nationalist Richard Spencer's wife says in divorce filings that he physically and emotionally abused her, right? Yada, yada, yada. And this is like a quote that, later in the story, they're going to mention. The only language women understand is violence. Nina Koprianova said Spencer told her. Spencer said, I dispute many of her assertions. So, he's disputing a lot of what she said, but this is what happens when you marry a Russian spy. Like you see, the Democrats are right. Stay away from these Russians because, you clearly cannot trust them. Okay. But it goes on. She's like, the wife of Richard Spencer, the white nationalist leader, has accused him of being physically, emotionally, verbally, and financially abusive. And I thought that was interesting. Financially abusive. So it's like, this kind of like makes me think that maybe a lot of this had to do over, with money. It's like, oh, you don't give me enough money to do this and to do that. You're being financially abusive. So, I thought that was kind of interesting. I never heard something described that way before. Hey, Jesus, stay out of the cities if you can. Yeah. Really shot at. So a 10-year-old was shot. It was a really bad area. They shot a 10-year-old. Oh, fuck. Yeah, Toronto is getting worse and worse. I don't know if it was that I saw that where there was a killing, but there was another killing just the other day I was reading. It might have been a knife. I think it was a knife fight this time. But, it's like anytime people are on the subway and shit, it seems like there's an altercation. Yeah, people are being shot left, right, and center. Like, this is insane. This is all happening under John Tory. And what do everybody in Toronto do? They vote for the same exact thing once again. So they're just a bunch of retards in Toronto. Like, this is what they want. They want more violence. They want, more division going on in their city because, this is what they voted for. If they voted for anybody, if they voted for Faith Goldie, then that would have told us they wanted a change. But clearly they're happy with the way things have been going. I don't know why my video is kind of slowing down, it looks like. But, You know, people, they're not going to get really mad until it directly affects them, until they get uncomfortable. But right now, people, they're still comfortable, so it's okay. You know, the migrants, the legitimate migrants, right, that are crossing the border illegally all the time, you know, that's okay because it's not affecting them personally yet. Somebody they know has not been assaulted, raped, stolen from. You know, it hasn't, you know, affected them directly. Maybe one of their jobs hasn't been taken or whatever, you know. It's defo BS from his Russian wife. I've seen her in an interview before and read a transcript, and she had nothing bad to say about him. She seemed as narcissistic as him with tons of pics only of her. Right, yeah, you know, like I don't believe necessarily it's true or anything, but I just thought that the article itself was funny. Like when there is a couple exchanges between the two. I don't know, like, you know, unless these exchanges have been altered or something, then I guess they are true, right? That were provided, you know, within the documents and stuff. But, you know, I'll go on. She's like, she married him in August 2010 and has 2 young children with him, alleges that Spencer physically abused her, including instances where she was being hit, being grabbed, being dragged around by her hair, being held down, yada, yada, yada. And as the story goes on, it makes it less believable by like the reasoning behind why he did a lot of this stuff. But Koprianova, who went by Koprianova in some public interviews and NK in the documents, has been reluctant to call police or seek an order for protection for fear of further reprisal by Spencer, her lawyer said in court documents. So, you know, right there, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's like, do you think Spencer is more powerful than the police and everything? You know, it's like at one point she talks about having, like, you know, evidence to prove this. So she could have went to the police right there. But, you know, these women always choose to wait, you know, to you know, report. And I'm not saying like it doesn't happen. Sometimes women don't report, you know, it does happen. Right. But, you know, a lot of these women tend to just do it on Twitter or whatever. But she, admittedly, she didn't bring it out that way. It was brought forth probably by some reporters who looked at the divorce document or something. But has been reluctant to call police for protection of fear of Spencer and lawyers. But, you know, this is also what they say, you know, so then they can get like the kids and more control and all this shit. But much of the abuse has occurred in the presence of the party's children. And, you know, that's kind of shitty bringing the kids into it. The document said that Spencer's controversial public life has led his entire family to be targets of violence, and Spencer kept a loaded weapon in his bedroom that was accessible by children after he was assaulted in public on the day of President Donald Trump's inauguration, which, you know, that makes sense. I would also keep a weapon around, you know, being and also loaded, you know, like it's there to protect your kids as well as yourself. But despite the risks to his family, whatever argued, continues to engage in extremely polarizing public speech, advocating peaceful ethnic cleansing. So yada, yada, yada. You know, she's trying to say, like, you know, he's still doing all this shit and putting us you know, in danger. Spencer, who claims to have coined the term alt-right, you know, and then they're just bringing up the whole Charlottesville thing, right? They're like, Spencer attended the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville 2017. Like, the amount of times that I see this Charlottesville rally brought up in news articles is pretty much weekly. Like every other day I see Charlottesville in 2017. And by the way, Trump said that there was good people on both sides, you know, so they always bring up this thing to remind people about, you know, how terrible a lot of these white supremacist type people are and how bad Trump is by proxy because he said there were good people on either side or some shit. But you know, whatever. It's like, I dispute many of her assertions, Spencer said in court filings, adding he denies each and every and all allegations. So that was kind of interesting, right? He's like, I dispute many of her assertions, Spencer said in the court filings, adding he denies each and every and all allegations. So I guess unless you're saying like the allegations and the assertions are different. So, you know, are some of the assertions correct, or are all the allegations false? I'm not really sure what he was trying to get at. Hey, Wayne, how's it going? Let's keep reading this here. But Spencer told BuzzFeed News his lawyers would send a comment, and the girl's lawyers declined to comment. So, you know, that's kind of interesting. And Kuprianova and Spencer's lawyers attempted to seal the divorce filings 3 times, but the judge denied those motions. The judge ruled that sealing the case would infringe upon Article 2, Section 9 of the Montana Constitution of the freedom of the press under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. So yeah, the judge blocked him from you know, sealing these documents over the basis of this, but I'm sure a lot of other people have been able to seal them. But nonetheless, it is true, like in America, that if you do it in court, all your shit is going to be aired out for everybody to see. So, you know, that's a good idea to settle if you can. The judge goes on claiming the parties have not established that the right to privacy supersedes the merit of public disclosure. And with their previous 2 motions seeking the same result, an instant motion is denied. And I think people should have the right to keep this stuff sealed, right? You know, like there was often a lot of allegations made that aren't necessarily substantiated, but people who don't like you, they're gonna read through it all. And they're gonna be like, oh, all this, and this is pretty much proof that you're a bad person, and all these allegations in court is proof that you're horrible, and, you know, yada yada yada, right? But the judge goes on claiming, okay, the couple has been living separately since July 1st, when splitting his time between Whitefish, Montana, where Spencer and live separate residents, DC. Spencer has previously stated he's separated from his Russian-born wife. See, she's Russian, man. You can't trust those Russians, who also hold Canadian citizenship as early as November 22nd. And she's also a Canadian, like, Jesus Christ. In Washington Post profile, he added in an article that his work was taking a toll on their relationship, which, you know, I believe that's probably true. Whatever has tried to explain some of Spencer's position. And when asked by Observer to explain her husband's desire to create an ethno-state, she said, in my understanding, these comments are about the theoretic future, a dream for people of European descent per se, not concrete policy suggestions for. So she's not, you know, saying that, like, you know, she's kind of defending him, I guess, a little bit there. Is a very heavy, she added, ethnic cleansing is a very heavy loaded term. There are some recent examples of fairly peaceful separations. So when asked in same interview, do you think that people of other races should eradicate in order to achieve the perfect society? She responds, no. Like, what kind of fucking question is that? It's like, you think people of other races should be eradicated in order to achieve a perfect society? Like, oh my God, like, this is the level of types of reporters that we have now. It's like, oh my fucking God. But the document also claims that Spencer was verbally abusive to their children, babysitter. This is funny. Including in front of their children, where he allegedly called the babysitter a fucking subhuman mediocre. Oh no, fucking sub-mediocre human being and fucking moron. The court finally goes on to claim both children had been adversely impacted by his behavior. But, you know, I can believe him saying something like fucking sub-mediocre human being and a fucking moron to his babysitter. He's like, none of the allegations of abuse have anything to do with my children, Spencer wrote in his own 48-page affidavit. Spencer goes on to write that Koprianova obviously and litigiously tries to rope the children into our dispute by saying they were in the room next door or they overheard abusive talk. And yeah, that I agree with, definitely, because, like, how old are these kids, right? Like a couple years old each or something. Like, don't bring these kids into something like this, because you're going to get, like, what, lawyers and investigators or whatever to start asking your kids, like, did daddy hit mommy? Did you hear him say anything about to the babysitter? You know, so, you know, that is a pretty low move for her to do, in my opinion. And then it says, Koprianova's 78-page affidavit includes exhibits containing text messages and emails that are meant to corroborate her claims, in addition to photos that supposedly show bruising suffered by Koprianova. Copies of the court documents provided by the Flathead County clerk are in black and white and are overexposed. So, you know, it's Koprianova said that Spencer's favorite statement to her was, this is funny, the only language women understand is violence. He also allegedly told her once, I'm famous and you are not. I'm important and you are not. Now, I think I can believe him saying those two things. It's like the only thing women understand is violence. And like, judging from some of the things he has said, where it's like, you know, he's kind of like conceded to, it's like, oh, the only thing that gets things done is force and, you know, having the government on your side, yada, yada, yada. So maybe he could have said something like that. I just think it's fucking hilarious. Like, the only language women understand is violence. Like, I'm just picturing him saying that maybe in like his, like, you know, his sweater and his like mustache and like drinking like you know, like smoking a cigarette, like drinking a, you know, a rum or something. The only thing women understand is violence. I'm famous and you are not. I'm important and you are not. He probably said that. Come on, like that one's probably true. In January 2011, about 5 months after their civil wedding ceremony, in 3 weeks. See, and this is the timeline. See, this woman, this is what I don't understand. It's like, okay, but I'll finish reading it. In January 2011, in about 5 months after their civil wedding, in 3 weeks before their church wedding ceremony, Kopriana, whatever her fucking name is, said that Spencer dragged her down the stairs by her legs, arms, and hair and threw her on the couch, resulting in bruises. So, first of all, why are you still going to marry a guy after he drags you by the legs, arm, and hair down a bunch of stairs and throws you on a couch? And like, this is 3 weeks before their church wedding ceremony. So, you know, you could have got out of it. You could have got out of that. You could have, I don't know. And then legs and arm threw on a couch, resulting in bruises. I was very sick with it. And this is another unbelievable thing. It's like, I was very sick with the stomach flu, could not keep food or water down, and wanted to stay in bed recovering. Spencer wanted to watch a movie downstairs and did not take no for an answer. So he got so mad. He's like, I don't care if you're sick and you're vomiting and you're puking all over the place. I'm gonna pick you up by the hair and the legs and drag you downstairs so you can watch this movie with me. Like, who does that? You know, I don't think that doesn't sound believable to me. You know, whether you hate the guy or love the guy, like, just I was very sick with the flu, could not keep food or water down, and wanted to stay in bed recovering. Spencer wanted to watch a movie downstairs and did not take no for an answer, she wrote. He dragged me out of bed by the arms, legs, and hair, dragged me down the stairs and threw me onto the couch. At that point, he calmed down and turned on his movie. The incident resulted in bruises. It's like, who does that? Like, maybe, I don't know. But like, you're gonna watch this movie with me. I'm gonna drag you down the fucking stairs. You're gonna sit down and watch it with me. Like, that's just insane. And you know, then here's a message that's going back. It looks like, I don't know, probably email or something. And she writes, yeah, apart. And then I guess the first thing is like, did you arrive back? And then she wrote, like, to Richard, yeah, apart from seeing the bruises on my wrists and knees from yesterday's adventure down your stairs that you sent me on, the trip back went without major incident. And then he wrote to me, are you working tonight? And then she said, no. And then he wrote, can we talk? So, you know, she did claim it happened in there. So I don't know, maybe she's doing that, but he didn't say, like, what the fuck, that didn't happen. But she could have, you know, deleted his messages, you know, and put it out of context. Maybe he did have a response there, but, you know, it's all the same day, it looks like. You know, some of the stuff is redacted. I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can check it out for yourself. But you can look at, like, scroll down to about like halfway, and you'll see what I'm talking about. In 2012, she said, Spencer had me down on the ground, smashing my head into the floor. She added, I remember feeling ashamed that their neighbors might hear what's going on. So it's like, you know, what the fuck is wrong with women? If this is true and he was smashing her head against the floor, why are you still having kids with the guy? It's like, see, women, they need to start taking responsibility. Like, if this is true, you know, that is horrible. That's terrible. But what is wrong with you to think that, oh, well, this is the kind of guy that I want to have children with and I want to marry and stay with? Like, something is definitely wrong with you. We need to say, we need to analyze something about that, not just completely blame, like, kind of like the guy. Like, you know, women have agency too. You know, you can be like, hey, why were you dressed like a slut walking down the fucking this back alley that is known for rape? You can ask these questions, right? You can ask this and not be a fucking misogynist and all this crap, right? But no, feel bad. Just say, just take all responsibility away from the woman. You know, she has no responsibility with putting her kids in a situation with somebody that drags her downstairs by the hair to go watch movies with her when she has the flu. You know, that's why it makes it kind of unbelievable. It's because, like, either you have no respect for yourself or, you know, you're fucking lying. One or the other. But, and she said, he had me down, smashing my head into the floor. She added, I remember feeling ashamed that the neighbors might hear what's going on. In early July 2014, whatever her fucking name is, said that when she was 4 months pregnant, Spencer got on top of me, held me down with his body weight, and held me by my neck and lower jaw, which she said caused bruising. She included in the court documents an email exchange from July 7th where she wrote to Spencer saying, I am not ready to converse with you after what you've done. My jaw is bruised. I'm sorry and I feel terrible. So this is the screenshot of what looks like another, like, email type thing. And she's like, she was very happy. So she cut out what she's responding to, but she's like, she was very happy, but hasn't had the time to sit down with me to set it up yet. To be perfectly honest, I am not ready to converse with you after what you've done. My jaw is bruised. And then he responded, I understand. I'm sorry. And I feel terrible. So, you know, that doesn't, it's from 2014. That doesn't look that great for him, right? Like, you know, he didn't deny the allegation. He says, I understand. I'm sorry. And I feel terrible. Maybe they had really rough sex or something and it went bad, but that doesn't look too good. If the emails, if the things are correct and they're not forged and whatever, then, you know, that's not, you didn't deny it. You said, I understand, I'm sorry, and I feel terrible. So, you know, he must have hurt her jaw to some extent in some way. My jaw is bruised. So maybe he grabbed her by the chin. But then again, you know, some people do bruise easily. I don't know, but that doesn't look too good. Days later, while visiting her mother in Canada, whatever her name is, said, my mother noticed bruises on my jaw, chest, and legs. She urged me to document them, which at that point she said were faded in yellow, including the photographs in court. So she has some photographs of some bruises that are faded at the very least. So, you know, and I guess she has her mom as a witness. Said that the incident while they were watching a movie happened after she attempted to cuddle with Spencer. See, it's like, you know, why are you still with this guy if he's so insane? Or it's like you're fucking lying. She said the incident happened while they were watching a movie and happened after she attempted to cuddle with Spencer. And it was in quotation marks. He often went into Mr. Hyde in the evenings and had issues with handling physical intimacy, including hugs. In October 2017, when she was 9 months pregnant, she said Spencer tried to punch me in the face during an unexpected visit. and a transcript of an audio recording in the court file, allegedly from the same night, said to Spencer, "You're going to hit a pregnant woman, and later you just tried to push me into a freaking stove." And in February 2018, she said, but his wife does look like she could take a punch, honestly. She said after the first mediation session, Spencer grabbed, pulled, and held me by the hair in the car. So it's like, here's another quote, or I mean another screenshot. Why did he freak out? Richard was screaming that I will never get rid of him for the rest of my life, and that even if he's left with 1 penny, he'll be happy if he can make me half zero. We attempted to go to divorce mediation intro meeting where the rules were explained. That was fine, but he freaked out in the car, pulled me by my gait, etc., my hair. The affidavit also contains pages of transcripts of conversations with Spencer that the Russian girl surreptitiously recorded on her phone. So, you know, she, like, you know, this has been in the works for a little while. Like, all these, like, you know, I think she's been like planning to fuck him for like a little bit now, like recording his conversations and shit. But, you know, maybe she had every right to do that because he was saying a bunch of crazy shit. Like, the only thing women understand is violence. And like, I don't know if that is true, but it's funny nonetheless. In one transcript, she said Spencer asked her, "Do you think your parents will attend your funeral?" And here's a transcript that's back and forth from 2017. A partial transcript of a smartphone recording. The entire recording is 1503. So, Richard Spencer, I asked a question. And then she responded, "What is your question?" And then he said, "Why don't you answer it?" And then she's like, "What is your question?" And then he's like, "Do you think your parents will attend your funeral?" And then she's like, "Richard, you do this every time. You come in and bombard me with bizarre statements." And then he's like, "You have no connection with me whatsoever." And she responds, "What kind of a connection?" And he's like, "The only way to have a connection with you is to break through in some way. You stand there. You have no emotion. Like, what is your fucking problem?" It's like, man, it's because you married a Russian. Of course, yeah, she has no fucking emotion. But you requested to come into this apartment to play with, I'm assuming their kid's name. I'm packing. It actually helps me if you have her occupied. So, you know, it's like, for somebody who's all the crazy violent, she doesn't mind if he watches her kids so she can pack because it keeps the kids occupied while she does her shit. And she doesn't seem that afraid of him. So it's, you know, there are a lot of conflicting things and stuff, but, you know, some of the statements I could believe him maybe saying, but, and then this transcript looks like, you know, he was just like, "Do you think your parents will attend your funeral? Richard, you do this every time. Like, stop fucking with me with these weird," it's like, "You have no connection to me whatsoever." It's like, oh my God. He goes on a great lengths. Spencer goes on a great lengths to express his his longing to see his children since divorcing proceedings were initiated, and how interaction with his children is important for their own maturation, which, you know, I agree with, right? That's horrible, you know, for women nowadays to go and keep men away from their kids. That is a fucking terrible thing to do. And if you do that, you are a bitch. You know, if you keep your husband, like, unless he is a violent, drunk psychopath and you have real legitimate reasons to do it, you're a whore and you should feel really fucking bad about yourself. But Spencer says that Koprianova repeatedly prevented his visitation by stonewalling, coming up with implausible excuses, and willingly ignoring polite requests, and provided screenshots of text messages, conversations as evidence of the excuses and stonewalling. Childhood separation from parents may be considered child abuse, he wrote. In October, the judge said Spencer could have supervised visiting rights, you know, yada, yada, yada. But that was pretty much it. And I just thought it was kind of funny, some of the things that he did say, like, you know, the only thing women understand is violence, and like just calling his babysitter like a subhuman, you know, imbecile or something, which, you know, I can maybe see him saying that, but I'm not saying these allegations are true. And yeah, it's unfortunate. you know, if you're gonna get see you later, Western civilization. If you're going to get a divorce in America, try your very best to fucking settle. And this is more of a reason why it's good to really choose and pick somebody who is not going to drag you through the court system. You know, you want to make sure you pick somebody right the first time, so you don't have to like have that situation where now you got two parents at each other's throats fighting each other. That's not good for the fucking kids whatsoever. And you know, it's super important to make sure you don't just go and come in some random fucking broad who could be a crazy hoe, right? So, you know, I guess he thought she was some traditional woman or some shit, but he was definitely wrong on that one. Or maybe she is, I don't know. But so what's the chat up to? Hey, Derek, how's it going? Racist. Yeah, of course, I know. Hey, Linda, how's it going? He staged her by her arm and legs. Yeah, I know. It's hard to grab somebody by their legs, their arms, and their hair all at once. But, you know, I guess you could. You know, she has long hair. It goes and he grabs her arm and grabs her hair at the same time, and then grabs her by the legs and be like, I want to watch a movie with you, you fucking whore. I don't care if you're sick and puking and have the flu. I want to watch a movie. So, you know, it's like that right there. I don't really have much faith. I don't know where my phone is, that it's actually true, right? But we'll see. But so what else was going on here? There was the, God damn it. Here. I want a better future for my children. Thousands crossing grueling trek in migrant caravan. Oh yeah, that right there has just been like really getting to me, is the massive migrant caravan that is rushing into America right now. It's close to like, it's going to be close to like at least 10,000 people by the time they reach the border. And the precedent that it sets is just not good, right? Like if they just let these people into the country without doing anything, that is just going to incentivize millions and millions more people to do the same thing. Because, you know, this already is happening. Like this is actually a small number of the amount of people who are crossing into the border illegally. And, you know, the only difference is that it's now visible and we're all able to see it. And people are like, oh, what the fuck? But, you know, like way more people than 10,000 people have crossed into America like this year alone, right? It's like, you know, and even like, you know, in Canada and shit, right? But when it's not visible, it's not as big of a deal. But this is even worse because, yeah, like this is just going to get a lot of them to group up in large numbers again and just come in as a huge group through force, pretty much, and be like, hey, if we group up, if there's enough of us, they can't stop us. And that's pretty fucked up. What does that say about the future, about other laws, right? It's all, if we just like get together and say no, enough of us, then we just don't really have to follow these rules anymore. And, you know, all these people with their sob stories like, oh, I got to work. And it's like they're not bringing in their best, right? I was reading one story where this girl, she's like, oh, I'm 17. I have an 8-month-old. And then I have a 2-year-old and my husband, which they don't give the age to. And it's like her husband's probably like some 50-year-old fucking dude. And she's 17. She has a 2-year-old. So what? She had that kid when she was 15 years old. And another guy's like, oh, I'm here to build roads. We're here to work. You can't stop us. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck America. They're like burning American flags. And it's like, there's no way that they could walk that huge distance in such a short amount of time. They are being transported by all these different fucking countries along the way. So it's good what Trump is doing by removing all of their funding, or, you know, the, you know, whatever the funding that these poor ass fucking countries get from America. And that is what you do. You know, you cut off funding to people like this, because otherwise, if you don't, you're you are rewarding bad behavior. That is exactly what you're doing. You're just rewarding people who are breaking the law. So, you know, like, these people need to be punished, or not punished per se, but they can't be let in, because that if that happens, you're going to see this at a much larger scale. They're going to be like, oh, well, we know this works. And most of these guys coming in are like 80% males, working aged men, that are going to come in and take all of the low skilled labor from everybody else within your country that needs those jobs. They're going to stagnate wages for the poorest people, and then you're going to need more socialism, a bigger government, more welfare to compensate for all that shit. And of course, businesses love it. They're going to get a bunch of cheap fucking labor coming in to America. It's like, oh, this is great, you know, and, you know, they're going to get subsidized. All these people will use Medicare. They will use the healthcare system. They will go into your schools. They are not inoculated. They will commit more crime. People say, oh, they commit less crime. No, they just don't report it, because if they do, they're going to get fucking deported. But a lot of crime, a lot of illegals take advantage of other illegals because they know they can get away with it, and other people do it too, right? But still, so it's like, you know, this is a horrible precedent. I don't feel bad whatsoever for these people who are like, you know, wanting a job is not enough of a reason to go and break the law. And they're like, oh, it takes too long to wait for my papers and yada, yada, yada. And I don't want to go to an embassy. It takes too long. Fuck this. And it's like, no, sorry. Like, just because it takes a long time to follow the rules, that's no excuse to break the rules, right? But whatever. And now there's this huge MAGAbomber thing going on. If you've seen on Twitter, it's like, MAGAbomber. Oh my God. You know, all these people, Hillary Clinton, Obama, George Soros, CNN, a bunch of other these Democrats, they were all attacked and targeted by Trump, are being sent these bombs and shit. And it's like, you know what? This is very convenient timing that this happens right before the midterm elections. This kind of like, I think this huge migrant caravan they thought was going to like actually help them, but it's not. And people are like, wait, we're against this shit. Even people from our own side are against this migrant caravan. So now we're going to come up with this to divert people from this, and now pay attention to this possible Trump supporter that is sending bombs to a bunch of liberal candidates because of the rhetoric that Trump is saying. It's like, come on, really? It's like, yeah, Trump, you know, he has said some things, you know, that you could say is incentivizing some violence. There is some things that he has said, like the, you know, oh, it was good that that guy body slammed the reporter. And, you know, I kind of feel that way in some ways too. Like, yeah, that guy was a joke, but no, that's not good to say that was good that happened. And, you know, a couple other little instances and stuff. But nonetheless, the majority of the violent rhetoric is coming from the left. Like Eric Holder, I think he had something sent to him. He said, when they go low, you kick them in the face, right? Like, so many people have said, like, bomb the White House. There's you know, all these videos like shooting like Trump, you know, like with what was Snoop Dogg. There's Maxine Waters saying all this crazy shit all the time. Like there is the media all saying that, like, oh, Trump pulling out of the Paris Climate Agreement is gonna kill 20 million people, and Trump scaling this back is gonna kill another million people, and Trump scaling back the healthcare is gonna kill another 20 million people. You know, all this always pulling out foreign aid, that's gonna kill another 50 million people. So it's like, yeah, that is gonna get a lot of crazies being like, I gotta do something about this, right? And, you know, look at what happened to Ron Paul and a bunch of what do you call it, Republicans lately have had rice sent to them. They have all these chemicals sent to them and potentially harmful things in the mail and stuff. Whereas everything that was sent to Hillary, Obama, all these other people was never going to get anywhere close to them. It had no chance, and the person sending it probably knew that too. Hey, Kelly, how's it going? But like they most likely knew that too, because they all these people, they have people handling their mail, looking at it way before they ever get to see it. You know, if you're going to be effective, you mail somebody that's more low level or whatever. But nonetheless, like, I don't really put too much heed to this, but right away everybody's like, oh, this is definitely a Trump supporter. And you know, they're hoping that we're not going to figure out who this is probably by the midterms. And if we do figure it out and it is a Trump supporter, then oh my God, you're never going to hear the fucking end of this. But I'm skeptical. I'm not saying it's a false flag and all that shit. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of crazy people out there that are incentivized to do a lot of crazy things for a lot of different reasons. So it's not good to make, you know, rapid judgment and stuff. But right away, you see all these pundits on Twitter being like, oh, this is definitely because of Trump. Like, here's a couple comments. George Capin, this has 420 likes. What do Obama, Clinton, Soros, Holders, Waters have in common? They have all been regular targets of Trump, and they have fought back. Warren could also be added to the list, but she only recently returned volleys against Trump. And then somebody, Debbie Thiessen, this got like 200 likes. When they reveal who they are, believe them, MAGAbomber. And then this one guy, Jared Yates Sexton, he's blue check mark. I've seen him around. When I was reporting from Trump rallies, his supporters were talking about murder and violent revolution. They talked about killing the exact people who were targeted today. Listen to them. Stop being excuses for them. Stop pretending it's just empty rhetoric. It's like, oh my God, man. The real violent rhetoric is coming from like the leftists and Antifa rallies and saying like, we need to kill white supremacy. We need to do this. We need to, like, you know, destroy capitalism. We got to go punch fascists and Nazis. And oh yeah, by the way, all conservatives are essentially fascists and Nazis, especially if you support Trump. So there's been a lot more violence happening from the other side directed towards here. And there is no proof yet of either or. But, you know, all these people are going to make their allegations, but you know, and they're like, oh, you know, it's like the same people. It's like, oh, don't, just because that guy said Allah Akbar and death to America and this is for Allah before he shot and killed 20 people, that doesn't mean it has anything to do with Islam. You guys are, you know, you're crazy and shit. But this right away, because of, oh, well, it was sent to these few people that are Democrats and they were targeted by Trump. Oh, you know, this is a conspiracy theory. Like, you know, they're always talking about conspiracies, but this is one. Like, this is one. They have there is no proof of any of their allegations, but they're tying things together and being like, well, this must be. In Twitter, that is so against fake news and all this crap, has no problem, you know, using this and having this go viral, right? They're going to say, oh, well, we're going to make sure that all these other things that should be going viral are censored because it's fake news, but and it's you know, bad rhetoric and conspiratorial, yada yada yada. But these ones are fine. All the conspiracies that the leftists and Democrats come up with are totally fine. When Melania Trump was like sick for a little while, oh, so that's because Trump is beating her, and this must be the fucking case, right? And it's funny because I am now gone, like, off of Twitter, right? Because I've been deleted. So when I do look at trending hashtags now, because I can still see some of, you know, my old thing, I can only see what is recommended by Twitter to me, and it's all leftists, right? It's like before, when I was on Twitter, I had, you know, curated my people that I followed and all that stuff. Like, it was, you know, I'd see when something was trending and I'd look at it and I'd see, you know, left and right wingers, and I'd see a lot of right wingers and, you know, their comments. But because I was deleted, I'm seeing what, like, just the average person who doesn't have their feed too curated is seeing when they look at hashtags. And it's all leftists, it's all liberals, blue check marks. You rarely ever see a conservative ever say anything. And that's because they've been censoring them off the platform, shadow banning them. They don't want even the basic conservative shit to be seen by liberals, right? It's totally fucking insanity. But they go on, right-wingers really hate the name MAGAbomber, he, and they're all just laughing about it. A bunch of these blue check marks. They're like, writer, producer, wanna be cool dad. This thing is, Trump can't walk back his call to violence because his entire political career is based on them. He would have nothing left to appeal to his base with. So he's saying, like, you know, oh yeah, the only thing that Trump supporters like is his appeal to violence, right? No, it's not the 4.2% fucking growth that people said was impossible to get that they like. You know, it's none of that. It's not of the trying to actually do something about immigration instead of just saying something about immigration like all these other people that have said in the past. Like there's clips of Obama, George Bush, all these people saying we need to stop these illegals coming into the country. You can't take advantage of the process, yada, yada, yada. But now all of a sudden Trump wants to do it, and he actually wants to do something about it, because that is the difference. He's a fascist. He's a racist. He's a xenophobic. He said that he was a nationalist. Oh my God. Something about like Colbert came out a while ago. He's like, oh, like he said he was a nationalist. Of course, if that is racist to say that, you know, that's just one word away from white nationalist. And it's like, oh my God, it's such bullshit. You know, it's like we can't even have any real pride in our country anymore. We can't say, oh, we care about our own people above other people anymore. It's like, no, you have to be a globalist or you're a hateful, fear-mongering piece of shit. It's like, no, man, I care about my own fucking people. And yes, nationalism has its problems. Like, I'm not a jingoist. I'm not like, support the troops always, no matter what, because they're right 100% of the time. It's like, no, I'm not like that. A lot of the times they're just drones, and fucking, I don't always support the troops. Definitely not. I'm against the military industrial complex and all of its, you know, everything that is involved with it. So, you know, nonetheless, like, yeah, I don't just say that random bullshit. But what exactly was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. But the MAGAbomber, and then, yeah, the crazy rhetoric. But so what's the chat going on? Yeah, I totally zoned out there. I lost what the fuck I was talking about. So I'm just going to look at the chat now. And, you know, that happens. Sometimes I'm making a video and you get into like a good rant and you're like, oh, this is great. And then halfway through, you're like, oh, fuck, what the hell was I talking about? And then you just zone out. But Trump has Trump, I love him on Twitter. He is the best, like, that anybody has ever seen. I think, like, of any other politician to be able to troll Twitter like he does. And nobody is going to be able to come around and do better. Like, there's never going to be another Trump. Like, there just won't. There's never going to be somebody that just trolls the fucking media the way he does. Like, and that's, you know, that's just the truth, man. There's never going to be somebody like him ever again. And yeah, fuck this goddamn carbon tax that they are imposing on Manitoba, Ontario, Saskatchewan, and whatever other province, I can't remember. But they're imposing all that on them. And what the funny thing is we're all getting kind of rewarded in a sense, which I still disagree with, because it's just a big mass. What he's trying to do is just trying to pay off the voters right before the election, because we're all going to get paid before these taxes even come into place, right? And he's going to pay off all of the people in these provinces that voted for conservative governments, right? So what is that? He's obviously buying the fucking vote. He's trying to be like, oh, well, okay, I'm going to give all the poor people in these provinces a ton of money, or money in their taxes before the vote comes, so they get, you know, encouraged to vote for me. It's such fucking bullshit, but it's funny because all the other provinces that enacted their own, you know, oppressive fucking carbon taxes like BC and all these other places that are touting them like, look at our growth and we're so great, blah, 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 because of our carbon tax. We're so great. It's like, yeah, you're doing better than other places because all of these other energy pipelines have been destroyed by the liberals. The East Energy Pipeline, the Trans-Pacific Mountain Pipeline, all these other things that would have stimulated the economies in other provinces are not being built to stimulate them. And the carbon emissions in BC rose, and the recent that Shell pipeline that was built was also, they also removed a lot of the restrictions on carbon emissions for that company to have all these things built. So it's like, you know, they had to go back on their word for carbon. And it's like, it's so crazy because there's no way that we'll ever charge enough money to actually efficiently reduce carbon by 30 fucking points or 30%, right? Because the UN thing, effectively, they're like, oh, you need to raise it. We need to charge like $5,500 a fucking ton per carbon. We're charging like 30, 40, 50. And everybody, all the articles I read, they're like, and they all agree it needs to be raised even more. And they're like, yeah, we all agree that it needs to be raised way more. And we're going to keep raising it in the future. So it's just another tax. It's another wealth distribution. Once again, just a hidden fucking tax to say, oh, but we're doing this to save the environment. We're doing this to protect you, right? But it's all just fucking bullshit, and they're just trying to take more of your fucking money. But, you know, I don't know. That's pretty much all I really had to say for today. But I'll look at the chat, see what you guys are up to. Hey, Faye. Hey, Fox, how's it going? Grew on me. Gotta admit, now I watch him frequently. Who is that? Who do you watch? Justin Trudeau says that any Canadian who doesn't believe in climate change is not a real Canadian. I say, fuck you, Trudeau. Yeah, I say, fuck him too. You know, like, does he actually say that? He grew on me. We desperately need a Trump. We do, but I don't think we'll ever fucking get one like him, man. Like, I'm not saying we won't get somebody who's good and nationalistic type thing, but for somebody who's as funny and as witty and quick and stuff, no, like, I don't, it's gonna be hard to top a fucking Trump one day. It's gonna be very difficult. Doesn't the USA have military trucks that can disable a mass group of people using sound? Seems like technology should be tested on the caravan. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we should be testing that type of shit on the caravan of people, because you know what? Like, I'm against using force, but obviously, you know, that's going to be used. The Democrats want that. They want like a bunch of rubber bullets to be shot at these people so they can be like, oh, look at Trump shooting these people with rubber bullets and using sound wave fucking things to shoot at children, because obviously these fucking people, they'll walk in the front line. You know, if there's like people shooting bullets and stuff, they'll put their like little babies, they'll hold them up as shields and stuff. They'll be like, don't shoot. And then they'll get shot. They'll be like, oh, they're shooting babies, you know. So it's a very hard situation to win. That's why removing their funding and their you know, the foreign aid that he gives these countries is good, because it's like you cannot reward these countries for letting them come through their country to get into America. And that's what all these other leaders did. None of them ever thought, hey, could we just like stop their foreign funding, and maybe that would like get them to tamp down? Because you know what, one of the biggest earner, or the biggest contribution to GDP in Mexico, Honduras, Venezuela, or not Venezuela, well, probably now, and a couple of these other countries, is remissions, is money that they make in America that gets sent back. So of course these countries have massive incentive to send their people to other countries to work and then send money back, because that is their main source of fucking money. And it's like, these people, they have no incentive within their own country to create an actual functioning country, because they can just send everybody they don't want over there. They're going to go send their money back to pay for everything that the other people need there. So it's crazy, and it needs to fucking stop now. People need to wake up, because it's getting worse, and it's not going to get any better until something is done about it. But so what's up? That's my saint. Cocaine, Kelly. Cocaine, the second stanza. But yeah, I think that's about it, guys. Thanks for dropping by, and tuning in. I really appreciate it. Wouldn't kill them, it blows the eardrums, knocks them unconscious. At that point, you can then move them anywhere. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe. Well, that's we need to keep that as an option, definitely, because that's people just can't keep crossing the fucking border like this and thinking like, well, I need work. I need work. Come on, man. It's like just make your fucking country great. There's billions of people who want to get into America and Canada because their countries are shit. Just make your country less shitty. Okay, that's gonna be your fucking goal from now on, because we are not the breadbasket of the fucking world. But yeah, where do you think you're going, AJ? I'm sorry. Should ever write some lyrics. Yeah, you guys, we still got to do that stream, Kelly and Saint. We still got to do that sometime soon. Let me know, because I would like to have another stream. I got to do a few more streams with people too, but I don't even know how to like actually invite everyone or whatnot. I still got to figure out a lot of stuff on this, but either way, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you have a great night, and take it easy. See you later.